apply upon natural selection to increase complexity and must create the first living cell using only the laws of chemistry and physics. There was no life there that could evolve. Life had to be created somehow. There are so many problems with purely natural explanations, leaving out the Creator, for the chemical origin of life on Earth that many scientists have already abandoned all hopes that life had a natural origin on Earth. Many are saying now life had to come from outer space. It could not have been created under those conditions on Earth. In fact, Scientific America editor John Horgan wrote, "If I were a creationist, I would cease attacking the theory of evolution and focus instead on the origin of life. This is by far the weakest strut of the chassis of modern biology." Now, another scientist, C. Panamparuma, wrote in his book Evolution from Space in 1981, "We have now what we believe is strong evidence for life on Earth at 3.8 billion years ago. This brings the theory of the origin of life on Earth down to a very narrow range of time. We are now thinking in geochemical terms of instant life." And remember what Allah says in the Holy Quran, "And give me no time." Scientists sometimes will make statements to mislead us, to think they know how life originated, and I'll give you one. This is from the National Academy of Science. "The question is no longer whether life could have originated by chemical processes on its own. The question has become which of many pathways might have been followed to produce the first cell." This statement is a lie. A more accurate statement would be to admit that there is currently no known chemical pathway for the many steps in the origin of life, including how an RNA world turned into a DNA world. Somewhere along the line, RNA is said to have turned into DNA, which is the main genetic molecule in all life today, which points to one creator. How did this happen? The answer is no scientist has any clue whatsoever. Problems with such a scenario are well put by biologist John Maynard Smith. And I quote again, "The origin of the DNA code is perhaps the most perplexing problem in evolutionary biology. The existing translational machinery is at the same time so complex, so universal, and so essential that it is hard to see how it could have come into existence or how life could have existed without it. It is as though everything must happen at once. The entire system must come into being as one unit, or it is worthless. There may well be a way out of this dilemma, but I don't see them at this moment." Islam presents a way out of this dilemma. Again, back to Francis Crick. He states, "The origin of life appears to be almost a miracle. So many are the conditions which would have to be satisfied to get it going." The Holy Quran agrees. It wasn't almost a miracle, it was a miracle. The Darwinism mechanism is incapable of generating the specified complexity that exists in biological organisms. It follows that chance and necessity are insufficient for the natural sciences and that the natural sciences need to leave room for God. The Holy Quran makes a wide range of observations covering the entire span of the creative process, not only pertaining to evolution, but also pertaining to the origin of life. How did life begin on Earth? The word Rabb invariably means someone who continues to evolve something from a lower to a higher stage. The Holy Quran envisions life as having been advanced step by step from dust, from water, from clay, and also from fermenting blackish mud, which subsequently turned into dry, ringing clay. The last two stages attract particular attention. No man of the era when the Quran was revealed could even remotely relate to the creation of man to dry, ringing clay made out of black, stagnant, fermented mud. And again, I quote from the Holy Quran, "With water did we create every living thing. He created Adam out of dust, and the jinn we created before from the blast of fire. He created you from clay, humid or moist earth. He created man from dry, ringing clay like pieces of pottery. And surely we created man of dry, ringing clay, of black mud wrought into shape." What perplexes the scientists is the question, how did inorganic chemicals convert into organic chemicals which were necessary for the creation of life? To date, none of the proposed solutions have found unanimous acceptance in the scientific community. They can't agree on the first steps regarding the origin of life. So during the first 3.5 billion years of the age of the Earth, our atmosphere remained free of oxygen. There was no productive ozone layer in the stratosphere either. The bombardment of this intense cosmic energy, because the ozone layer wasn't there to filter it out, became largely instrumental in the creation of prebiotic organisms which helped to transfer material from inorganic to organic. In other words, the cosmic rays that would destroy life today were used by God to create life. Interestingly, jinn, which are known to be bacteria, are described as having been born out of blasts of fire from the cosmos. And the jinn we created before that, the creation of man, from blasts of fire. And the jinn he created from the flame of fire. So the prime candidates for the application of these verses seem to be such minute organisms as drew the energy of their existence directly from hot blazes of lightning or cosmic radiation. A scientist named Dickerson agrees with this Quranic view, where he observes, most ancient organisms would have lived on the energy of lightning and ultraviolet radiation. The relevant point is that all forms of most ancient bacteria draw their energy directly from the heat from cosmic rays. This is a tribute of no small magnitude to the Quranic declaration made over 1,400 years ago. Usman, bring me up page 14, please. Sorry, I'm missing my last page. After the end of the most ancient period of jinn, water played a vital role for the preparation of material needed for molding of the living. This material consisted of organic compounds mentioned as stagnant mud, decayed to jinn. Sidney W. Fox showed how clays subjected to cycles of wetting and drying can link molecules of the amino acid together known as glycine. The cycling transfers energy from the environment to the organic molecule. Hence, we make inorganic molecules into more organic molecules using clay made from black stagnant mud as a filtering process. The Quran is evidently on the side of those who support a wet beginning with an intermediary stage of dryness where concentrated primordial soup was molded from blackish mud into plates like drinking clay, such as broken pieces of earthenware. It is worthy of note here that these verses clearly state that the material used for the making of pottery-like plates was decayed organic matter, stagnant blackish mud. The scientists believe that upon further drying, the clay must have crystallized asymmetrically, thus becoming laminated into extremely thin layers set upon another to form plates resembling pieces of pottery. Now, Graham Cairns Smith hypothesized that clay crystals could have acted as a template which could allow for the continued creation and replication of organic material. Hypothetically, this scenario could create a wide variety of organic molecules. So the actual chemical process of turning inorganic molecules into organic molecules is presented in the Holy Quran. From what we learn in the Holy Quran, it appears that life began with the ultimate goal of creating man, with a foundation in water as a type of bacteria that drew its energy from cosmic rays. This life form turned into a type of blackish mud that was fermented and turned into clay crystals. These clay crystals were then used to filter, combine, and separate, and recombine water and dust that eventually became the basis of DNA life, which we are all a part of today. In conclusion, Harold P. Klein of Santa Clara University expresses his doubt about life creating itself in the following words: "It is almost impossible to imagine how it happened." Khalifatul Masih IV interjects, "We only object to the word almost. Instead, he should have clearly confessed that it was absolutely impossible without the creative power of God." Thank you.